All right. It looks like we in. Yep. I'm gonna send this link to some more people real quick, y'all. Um, okay. All right. Trying to give y'all some simple reform solutions. My name is David Miller, Culture Arts Ambassador, self-proclaimed Culture Arts Ambassador of Pompano Beach, Florida. And I want to say thank you for tuning in to my session, which is Culture Provides Solutions. Yeah, it's still 2019. 2019 is a beautiful year. And if you didn't know or didn't come to my event, I did a nice Juneteenth event. Juneteenth is the celebration of the emancipation, letting everybody know that you are free. So I did a Juneteenth celebration this year, June 19th. Um, yeah. So culture and a little bit more about that, why it was so special. We are in the Jubilee year, 400 years, man, since the first slave was documented in Virginia. That was 1619. I'm just messing with y'all for a little while, burn up some time while people come in. But anyway, yeah, that is an amazing thing. 1619 was the year that started this thing that we call America. And I'm here to talk about culture. Everything I say is going to relate to culture. So, you know, um, even the shirt I'm wearing, baby, it's blue. Ford. Y'all may or may not know Henry Ford had a brother that was called George Washington Carver, a scientist that was world renowned scientist. George Washington Carver was recognized by Roosevelt. All the presidents understood and knew what he did. Ford actually used a method that Carver created called the assembly line. How you make plants in a line and grow them. He said, well, we should construct and manufacture in that same thing, an assembly line. So that's a little tap of history. As a matter of fact, right now, let's just give a moment of silence for the ancestors, and maybe they'll give me something beneficial to give to y'all, because you can ask all the Mexicans, all the Chinese, they ain't do what we did. That is 200 to 300 years of free labor, free for hundreds of years. Can't nobody else say they did that before. So let's just get a moment of silence for the ancestors and for the people that brought us here today. So, yes, I think we like a minute in by now. All right. So culture provides solutions. In mathematics, you have variables that makes a solution. So the solution is the answer. Um, we're here talking about education reform. A lot of people out there say that America education system failed us. Some people believe that, some people don't. I personally have a bachelor's degree. I'm pretty decent, but I know a lot of people with degrees that just ain't getting nowhere. A lot of people that did not get a high school diploma and got a little bit of money. So educate yourself is what I'm going to say first. But as far as elementary, middle school, and high school, I'm going to give y'all a little something that may help y'all. First off, culture. Culture is science, art, and religion. So after you have those three aspects, science, art, religion, you then form history through over time. So that's culture. I'm going to tap into the art. Now, let's just give a few ideas of what art is. You have performing art, culinary art, visual art, music. All those things can be summed up as art. So, what I want to speak on is art as it pertains to drawing. I have drawings in the back. I have a couple of things I'm going to show. So let me get into this really quick. I even have some books, but before I even get into all that, I will give y'all the inspiration for my title. The inspiration for my title comes from Dr. Amos Wilson. Please look him up online. Please, you'll be doing yourself an injustice if you don't know the name Dr. Amos Wilson. Yeah, that guy was pretty good. So anyway, I just picked up this random book, drawing basics. So what I wanted to look at in this thing here, as drawing is a part of visual arts, I'm going to tap into a whole lot of things, and I just need y'all to keep up with me because I might be going 100 miles an hour, but trust me, it's very simple. So here in this book, we have this right here. That right there. Wait, let me go to the right direction. That right there is called a grid system. So the grid system is a way that you can piece together, like a puzzle, you can piece together a method in which you can draw something to scale. Scale meaning making it larger than what you are already looking at. So that's a nice technique. So if you can understand, when I use the word scale, that's a mathematical term. Everything about art on what I'm giving you is going to be along the lines of education. How are we going to use visual arts to get our students to love learning? That's all we want to do. If they learn to learn and love it, then they're going to be all right, if you can understand how I said that. So a couple of more words I want to give you, and it's all in my PowerPoint presentation. If you would like to download it, you don't have to, because it's just me and what I do as a mentor. So I have mentorships and all this and that. All that is in my back office. If you'd like to download any information about me, I don't want to go into nothing about my background in this presentation. All the information is on my page. Luckily, you can tune in to all of that. So in my presentation, I actually said that drawing comes from the imagination. So there's two ways to do it. Come out of your imagination onto pad, or visually look at something and draw it for what you see. These things is like magic once you master it, because drawing is the beginning stage of engineering, architecture, fine arts, and all of this is to convey a message. You're going from the dark matter in your brain, which I can't see. But when you put it on paper, that's yours. You created it. So drawing is a beautiful thing. And I don't know how far back you can go with drawing. I can go back a few thousand years. We have literature that got real heavy within 2,000 years, but you can go 5,000 years and look at those Egyptian walls and see holographics. The name of the drawings escaped my mind. It's definitely not holographic. Sorry. But anyway, look, they're on the walls, 5,000 years old. I don't know how much it costs to get some of that, but they're drawings. They're conveying a message. They're teaching. They're giving lessons. Okay. So some of the artists that you may know within the near future, like 1500s, you have Leonardo. Leonardo drew blueprints to pretty much engineering. He made weapons with his drawings, and to this day, people are trying to create helicopters off of those blueprints. And as I said, you should always know culture is science, art, and religion. You could dibble and dabble back and forth with all these things. How does religion work? Look, I'm not going to debate. I ain't here to debate nothing about religion, but I will say for most people, religion is their first encounter with spirituality. Okay. This is your first time understanding the use of faith. Like, I'm using my faith to achieve something or to get past something. All these things I believe we must inform our students about. We must inform them about it because it do exist, and your faith does carry you a little further. And even the stories that's told is artistically made. to convey a message, to give hope. So yeah, move religion to the side, back to the art side of things with visual arts. So I want to read something that I had in a proposal for a grant that I was writing. Really quick. So here's something in a proposal that I was writing, to put drawing in a garden. Like you go to a garden, and believe me, in the ancient, not so ancient world, but all the philosophers was outside with university. All the Plato's, Galileo's, and all them Greek people, they was outside, and they was learning through drawing and science. They was learning a lot. So I challenge you all to challenge your students to learn about the science and the arts. Those things will make mathematics a little more easier. It'll make it a little more easier. Proposal. Drawing is a creative way to engage engineering ideas and create artwork for futuristic concepts. The environment will provide the space for agricultural conversation. Gardens are now using technology to track production and provide solutions. Pompano's first community garden is now looking to become the cutting-edge educational location for social gatherings. We have 2 sessions of paid internship programs totaling of 30 high school students. We at the community garden are looking to expand our irrigation system with solar power paneling and solar power components. As cultural arts ambassador of Pompano, I feel the art of sketchbook drawing can be great, and the fundamentals of science, sketchbook drawings, visually. The imagination allows engineers to see and test what may or may not work in the blueprint stages of experimentation. That's drawing, y'all, drawing. So we went from scribble scrabble to actually to scale, refine art that can possibly be solutions for your power, your energy source. Okay. So that's just a little bit about me dealing with art as far as drawing. Another quote I want to get out of a book: the power of art. All right. So I'm just going to go to one little quote. I think these things that I'm giving you are going to give you some more creativity in how you approach education. Why not? All right. Power of art. If art can make you happy, can it also make you good? If it can move you to ecstasy or tears, should it also move you to stand up as a citizen? And that's all I'm gonna give you on that one. So we have segments in time where art really provided an escape from reality. Picasso, paintings, a whole lot of mumbo jumbo in that artwork, but it was World War II, man, and that meant something. Okay. Let me give you somebody black, because I done gave you all that Greek stuff, and I done gave you all that Leonardo stuff. Here in the hip hop era, we have what's my guy name? The most money spent on a painting to date, $17 million. What's my boy name from New York? Basquiat, that's his name. Yeah. So look, poor man on drugs, started getting in these social settings and putting it down with the paintbrush. Now he's dead at his age of don't quote me on this part, 27, I think. Dead. Most valuable painting to date. You know, and that's a brother from New York, you know. So when you see your students scribbling in class or drawing and stuff, engage them in conversation. You know, we have sections in this summit where a lot of the speakers are talking about all you got to do is have a conversation and then you'll see where to take the next level. I mean, I actually did Bible studies, and I'm actually certified to be a counselor, but that's not the route I'm gonna go. We all need some form of counseling at some point, whether it is a consultation, you know, or it's a just an escape, because a lot of people dealing with trauma, and you'll hear the trauma in art if you listen to the poetry that's being put out nowadays, the art of words, the linguistics. So again, man, I'm giving you a lot. I know, as I said, poetry, science, and all that, but all that is within the culture. And like I said, we provided a lot of culture for this country. And I don't know that we understand truly what the significance and the power that the culture has. I can talk on and on about culture, but remember, we homing in like that right there on art. So I'm just sticking with the art. But I'm going to splash a little bit of this and a little bit of that in there because look, I work at a garden. Botanicals is an art. Bonsai tree maintenance is an art form, you know. So I want you guys to keep all these words and phrases that I'm giving. I know it's in a cluster. That's how my mind thinks on multi dimensions anyway. But I'm shooting them at you that fast because I need you to catch them. And sooner or later, you're going to say, yes, this is how we're going to get this student. If we can reach this one, you know how it was in the Bible. I think if something about the verse where if one escapes, you leave the 99 to go get that one, because it's that important when it comes to education, you know. So and again, don't quote me on that verse either, but you know what I'm talking about. So now I want to get into something a little deeper than that. Oh, I'm shooting a lot at you at one time. And I keep sketchbooks. I want to tell you guys that's not a very good but sketchbooks. You get your foreplan going with a sketchbook. You get a feel for what you want to have to paint, or even the ideas or the concepts in your mind. I encourage you all to give sketchbooks to your students. Have one for yourself. Use it as a journal. I date everything I sketch. I drew today, Friday the 13th. You go outside, you might find a full moon. Ooh, why am I doing my session on Friday the 13th? Anyway, sorry, I just was playing. But when dealing with art, you can always entertain, man, because acting is an art form. Comedy, it's a certain degree of art, timing, anticipation put into that to be funny, you know, to even be funny, man. But when it comes to academics, how are you going to get someone to learn? A question was asked: what makes what we learn relevant to our circumstance and situation? What makes what we learn? Imagine a student sitting at their desk in history class, in algebra, all right, in biology, in English class, Come on now. What makes what we learn relevant to our circumstances and situation? Somebody should tune in and answer that question for me. But I know. So I'm gonna give you something that's a riddle. That question, one more time: what makes what we learn relevant to our circumstances and situations? Here's the riddle. Because once you're able to answer that question, the answer to that question has always been kept enclosed by the overseer. What I mean by that is it's a secret. They only allow you to be scientists. I know the big word they. They only allow you to be scientists if that science helps them. Okay? So them, they over here, you're allowed to do all that, and we'll fund it if it goes along what we say. Circumstances and situations. Okay. So I just wanted to say that because that might jog and click in somebody's head. And you might be able to tell me a little something more about academics. I actually passed high school and got a bachelor's. I keep saying that because, it's worthy of mentioning. A lot of people have done that. So, but I'm one of the ones that have done that. So I like to say that, man. I feel good about it. Lord knows I spent 40,000. But back to the arts. So a little bit more about art, right? Once you become a master artist, not that I'm a master artist, but imagine a person that can sculpt, draw, paint, build. That is an amazing person. That's just the visual arts. What if I could play the piano as well as those things? You mix in harmonics, symphonies in with the fact that you can visually capture the mind. I take that over a mathematician a lot of times. Being an accountant is beautiful, but that artist, man, there's something about that artist, man. It's an artist. That's the artist is the ones they be talking about when they say it's a thin line between insanity and genius. That's who they be talking about. Because them boys be having a whole lot cranked up in that thing. They be trying to let it out. And culturally, we understand that there's a lot of people with just an energy just held tight, kinetic, and they want to have a way to release it. I'm a judge at a poetry slam this month, and I just be listening to how much pain in these poems. I'd be almost about to cry. I'd be really feeling it, but being able to release is therapeutic. If you have a student that's dealing with issues and dealing with pain, trying to get out of confusion, what kind of test scores you really think he gonna have if he's dealing with his situation? Is he really gonna get an A while dealing with trauma? So I think if you could infuse a little bit of art in there, any one of them, man, because we do know food is therapeutic. Cook for that student, let them feel the love that was put into that dish. I'm only saying that because I grow organic vegetables, and we as the culture are making a shift. I don't know about y'all, but this Thanksgiving, it was a lot less meat being ate. And it's a reason for that. We're building a culture right now. I ain't saying become a vegan, a vegetarian. I ain't saying none of that. I'm just saying we're building a culture. And I know a lot of people be like, oh, Thanksgiving is when they came and killed the Indians, all this and that. But no, we're in the 21st century, baby. This is the time where we get with family and understand our blessings. It's time to say thank you. The planet has provided for you. This ain't no human thing. The planet has provided vegetables, food. The harvest is plentiful at this time of year. And that's what Thanksgiving means to me personally. I wouldn't even go into the history lessons about no pilgrims or none of that. When we talk about that food that's sat on the table, ain't none of them gave it to you. We brought that, so we don't have to get into all that stuff. I just want you to know that culinary is an art form, and you'll see a student smile when that tastes good. That's ooh, woo. Can you imagine the face of a student smiling after tasting something good? You infusing into their senses. They smell it, taste it, see it. They ain't thinking about getting hit upside the head by their drunk daddy or being cussed out by their lunatic mama, So boom, that's even therapeutic. Just a little palate of food, I recently learned how to eat the turnip, not the turnip green, but the actual turnip. It's juicy, it tastes good. I've been eating okra raw and learned how to make sweet Thai chili sauce. That is an awesome thing. So all right, I went into culinary. Sorry. Back it on up and bustle right back into the arts. So back into visual art. Visual art. Imagine, I want you to use your imagination. Have you ever seen the DNA strand? All right. That's something. I don't know what they be doing, but when they found the DNA strand, a whole brand new science came out from that artwork of a DNA strand. That artwork then turned into 3D art, which was infused into the computer to become a way to run tests, calculations with the DNA strand. So stem cell research and all that comes from artwork, the DNA drawing. I ain't talking about the drawing of the anatomy. I know how to draw hands, feet, and all that. We're talking about the molecular structure of a being, an organism. Now, once they found that and they went to getting these high power computers, they've been finding a lot of things on their research on how to provide solutions for illnesses. So don't take what I'm saying lightly with the culture. You know, I can give you a whole lot of big, long words. I know a whole lot of different stuff because I was an art major. I know that you go from, you know, a cell to the tissue, to the organ, to making an organism, to then having a body. We could get the buildup from a zygote to a fetus, to an infant, to a baby, we can talk all that. But once we get down to singularity and figure out what we're doing with education, then we can find a path to put our students on that's going to keep them engaged in what you're wanting them to learn. I'm not downing the school board for their curriculum. I'm just saying how culture can provide solutions. And yeah, all right, new topic. So I brought up Dr. Amos Wilson. All right, this is a brother that's very knowledgeable. Also look at Claude Anderson. He'll show you why we're in the predicament we're in. Find these guys, and Boyce Watkins lead a thread to those names, because I would want you to know more about the culture dealing with the predicament we in, the areas that we need to be in, economics. All right, I'm going overboard. So anyway, back to Amos Wilson. Quote by him: "We need a set rules and procedures to fit our needs." I know y'all don't like following the rules. I know it ain't cool to humble yourself and sit in that chair and learn something. But this is coming from one of the elders. We need a set rules and procedures to fit our needs. Are you hungry? Are you in need of a companion? What part of this reckless culture is going to fit the need of those things? So now, when I say reckless, I'm trying to get my students specifically to not glorify stealing, drug use. I'm trying to get them to not glorify it so much. It is an experience that human beings go through, but I'm just trying to say, we want to put them in a direction where they find it fun to learn, as well as cultivate them, as well as mature them. All right. So a little bit more about Culture Provides Solutions. I'm going to take some quotes from Dr. Amos Wilson. He's saying that culture is these things. This is my deal when I say science, art, and religion. It's proven that those things make a culture, you know. And I gave you a few versions of art. I'm only sticking with art, but I want to give you a spectrum of stuff as we learn it. So Amos says that culture is the language, the communication in which that's made. He says it's the courtesies, the rituals, the roles that you play, the customs, the relationships, the practices, expected behavior, values, thought, the thoughts. I like that one. The manners of interacting, He say those things make a culture. I agree with him socially. I agree with those things socially, especially the practices, the expected behavior. Don't you know, with this mess on my head, when I walk into a room, they expecting me to be like, you know, I don't even know the word for what they be thinking, but they can have all that. We'll put that down for now. So I'm steady talking about how culture can provide solutions, and I'm trying my best to hang in there with y'all, dealing with visual arts alone. But it's just so necessary to tell y'all about these forefathers. It's so necessary to talk about culture at large. But I'm gonna get back into the drawing because y'all like to hear me say stuff about visual arts, and I'm gonna stay on my path. I purposely didn't watch all the sessions because I didn't want to steal from y'all. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to come original. But another thing about drawing, you remember, as I said, it's a part of architecture and engineering. Well, the bare basics. I got the drawing class at the library. I'm teaching them shapes, which then turns into figures. You know, figures like silhouettes. After figures comes letters. Believe it or not, your eyes register letters because of the shape of the letter. Okay. If you saw a P and a Q, you could possibly get, oh, I missed it. Yeah. The lowercase P and Q, or the lowercase D and B. You could possibly get confused if you was an adolescent. So those shapes mean something, letters. So we have shapes turn to figures, turn to letters, turn to icons. When you on the computer and you're clicking icons, those symbols mean something. You're clicking that for a purpose and a reason. That's a little piece of artwork. You know, you click on that AOL or you click on that G with them colors, you know you're going to Google, you know. So culturally, we understand that. I don't know if they know how to search the web. I mean, use Google worldwide, probably, but that icon means something. And that's a piece of artwork. Every day on Google, the word Google, that logo, okay, we go from icon to logo. That logo changes every single day. And on a holiday, it means something. So we always conveying a message using artwork. Back to letters, okay, because I'm in this hip hop culture in America as an African descent. The letters, as I learned in art school, typography is the way in which we draw the shapes, which in turns into letters. So you read letters, but then we have graffiti. Some of y'all be looking at that artwork like, what it say? But it's not about the word. It's about the energy and the stroke in which that thing was made, like that there. The Japanese would know what they're talking about because that's all they concentrate on is the stroke when making their letters. So yeah, graffiti is an American thing. Blame hip hop for that. All right. But those shapes and that energy that it took to make those colors and to zip those lines across to make a extravagant display of a word, man, that's something. That's artwork. And some people can read it, some people enjoy it for what it looks like, but that's real. That's real. Back to logos. Logos start as drawings usually, whether on a computer or by hand. But do you know the power of a logo? The logo stretched throughout the hands of time. It don't go from this country to that country. It goes through time and it exists the whole time. The W in Webster Dictionary was copied and brought over to Wikipedia. You know, that's just a letter, but it was once a drawing and it's a logo. So that logo is basically a symbol for branding. So that brand means this, this, and this. You expect to see these things when you see that brand, that logo. Yes. When you talk to high schoolers, they love it. When they're in high school, I got a logo. I got my brand. I know how I'm going to make these t-shirts. And I'll be like, go ahead then, do it. So, you know, some of these words seem simplistic, But when you get in the conversation and you understand the arts, I think you can actually get your students to enjoy, because learning shouldn't be tough, man. You know, I hope y'all feel me on that. Learning shouldn't be tough. It is hard to retain the knowledge. Imagine if you're in calculus or even in history. I can't get them dates down, Pat. You heard me try to quote some things out of the Bible. I don't got it exact, but I have the understanding, and it was learned at one point, and I got it. I got it. Trust me, I got it. So we need to make education something enjoyable again. You know what I'm saying? Give them some clay so they can play with that clay. I'm going to have a class where I'm teaching origami. Do I know how to fold paper? No. We about to learn it, though. You know, that's the Japanese art of folding paper, origami. So that art is very, very, very important, especially when you're dealing with the visual art. I can tell you how important audio is. You know, you can brainwash people with the right music, right tones, keep playing it. But I'm just talking about the visual side. Imagine, let's just talk a visual. When you see an octagon and you color it the color red, does that mean go? No. Culturally, we already know what an octagon is with no color on it. We know what it is with no color. A triangle, yellow, with an exclamation point in it. Does that mean have fun? No, that means caution. What's happening? Pay attention when you see that triangle with the exclamation point in the color yellow. So those are all icons, right? And icons actually, don't quote me on this, but the definition pretty much is we put these things above something else. That's an icon. We put it above the normal because it gives direction. So case in point, if I have a icon, which is an arrow that looks like a triangle and it's going that way, usually that's a play button. Culturally, we knew that all around the world. The triangle going sideways is a play button, right? That's an icon. Double triangles could either be fast forward or rewind. Those are icons. These things we subconsciously already know when we see that little piece of artwork. I call it artwork because I'm sticking with art and culture. So all this you already know. I already know that you already know, but I'm just trying to make it all relatable, because the more relatable these things become, the easier it is to retain. And yeah, I think that is a very, very, very important thing. Being able to retain what we're teaching will give us the yellow brick road to reform. So, all right, if you say, Dave, you're going crazy, nobody need art no more, because you do know Philly took out art, Florida took away art. We got a lot of schools without art programs. You know this. You're going crazy. You think art don't work, is not going to work to help educate our students. Okay, I challenge y'all to do all your lessons without relating it to some form of art. Ooh, because that's cultural. If you talk about dance, hip hop, and you win the 80s, what came to mind? I already know you got MC Hammer in your head. When you talk about singing in the 80s, you loved Whitney Houston, you know. So all this is art forms, music, dance, and all that. How are you going to teach a child without giving them some form of, and this is why they had to go get that stuff up out of Egypt, because we used all art forms, man. The art gave us geometry. Geometry, yeah, that's the science and the mathematics that the Egyptians used, and y'all trying to figure it out. All that came from art. It came from art. Believe in it. When we talk about agriculture, it's a part of culture. Let me start getting into colors now. I done did drawing. I done did symbols. Let's talk colors. Agriculture. If a plant was once green and now it's yellow, and then you know it's starting to spot brown, is it a healthy plant or is it a dying plant? Okay. You wouldn't understand those things if you hadn't had some kind of color theory in your brain. You know what I'm saying? And that is a part of art. Once you start learning primary colors and secondary colors, how to mix colors, then you'll say, oh, it's a yellow sun shining within a blue reflective atmosphere, and the plants is absorbing it. And that's where we get the green from, yellow and blue. Color spectrums is very magnificent, because what's happening is, I'm getting into science a little bit about reflecting and refraction of light. These are things that allow us to interpret. We can interpret with colors, man. Like I told you about the yellow triangle and the red octagon. I don't even have to tell you what those mean. You know what it is when you see it. So if we interpret things with colors, could we use colors to educate? I got something for you. And you're going to love it. So back to the artwork and a little bit about color. Let me look this up. Let's look up, like if you had an infant, right? I like the color blue. You know, the color blue is a little something. So in blue in psychology, what it does to the mind, blue calls to mind feelings of calmness and sincerity. It is often described as peaceful, tranquil, secure, and orderly. Blue is often seen as a sign of stability and reliability. Blue. So when you walking through them hospital walls, them hospital hallways, and you see blue on the wall and that soft purple, that's why. Because blue is tranquil, secure, peaceful, and orderly. Why would I have a hallway full of red in a cancer patient hallway in a hospital? Okay, I just gave you some. So let's go to another color real quick. Psychology. Yellow. I like yellow. I love canary yellow. That's beautiful. When you get that yellow gold and them yellow diamonds, that it just do something for me. But anyway, yellow, it means happiness, optimism. It is a color of sunshine or bright light and creativity. It is believed to have an influence on the left side of our brain, where deep thinking and perception dwells. So imagine you paint your child's, an infant, you paint his room yellow. You get away from the soft pink, powder blue, paint it yellow just to see what that kid, his eyes gonna be looking like. It's a lot to look at in here. So that's the reason why, because it activates the left brain and it encourages deep thinking and perception. So psychologists use yellow a lot too. I noticed that, and the word optimism is associated with the color yellow. So these is visually ways that you can speak on topics. I know y'all out there saying, "Dave, keep going with the colors." I know what color you want. Red. Ooh, let's go. Nope. Psych. I ain't doing red. Green. Green is cool color that symbolizes nature and the natural world, perhaps because of its strong association with the nature. Green is often thought to be represented tranquility, good luck, health, jealousy. Researchers, let me see, hold up one second. Researchers have also found that green can improve reading ability. Go. All right, so green means go. If you got research with psychologists saying that green can improve reading, and I'm telling you that agriculture, being outside, is the science and the art of the ancestors. All them philosophers and theologians and all of them, they studied outside. They wasn't in the four walls, okay? If I'm telling you these things, I'm imagining, I ain't got facts, I ain't got no pictures to tell you or nothing, but I'm imagining if they were in a garden or a field or a forest, they looking at these animals and learning from nature. They looking at these trees, which has green and vegetation. They doing the timeline of the seasons. They're learning a lot, okay? They're learning a lot. I'm just imagining. I can't tell you that I talked to anybody about this, but I'm just imagining. And that right there, what I looked up was psychology in color theory. So we do have some evidence, some proof on it. In the real world, right? Reform is scary. People do not want to change. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, it is said that people want to protect themselves from change, because change usually means your predicament is going to get a little harder. Yeah, it's going to get harder. Usually. Change could possibly mean it's going to get softer, but a lot of times it's going to get harder, because change forces you to, y'all ain't gonna like the word evolve. It's going to force you to actually upgrade. You got to, you know, if you don't up, the only other option is doing what? So when I say culture provides solutions, by the end of this session, I just want you viewers to gain an understanding of what I mean by culture. And I want you to actually utilize some of the words that I've given, because I teach drawing, and believe me, it turns into a science and a mathematics. These third graders already know what photosynthesis means. They already know what it is. That word was hard to pronounce when I was a young boy. Photosynthesis. And they already understand that that's the way plant life eat, in a sense. When I'm drawing, second graders already understand what a right angle is. 90 degrees, a right angle. They already understand that in the second grade. So now we got to get creative. And I definitely want you guys to know that it's not hard. You just got to get open-minded and creative. So giving them art classes, I'll be teaching about longitude, latitude, and then they understand how to read the globe. You know what I'm saying? They understand 3-point perspective. They understand depth of field. They understand you just could get a lot going in with the science. I'm gonna take a 2 minute, 1 second. Hold on, gotta get another book. Sorry about that, family. Sorry about that. Hold on 1 second. Okay. I'm sorry. I had to go get a book. And it's my book. It's my sketchbook, that is. So I want to give y'all a little something for free. All right. I gotta find the page. But yeah. Artwork kind of saved my life, man. Because I'm gonna tell you something. When my father died, I had to find myself to do something, because I just ain't had an ambition to play football no more. And I was pretty decent too. So I ended up drawing, and I became a introvert. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, Dave, you changed," but you know what? It's all good. We grown now. Dang, where is this? Okay, all right. So in studying metaphysics, right? Studying the human, I didn't come up with this. I actually drew this from what someone was saying, and I believe it to be insightful. I drew it in March of this year. I'm gonna try to get it up there where you can see it. Let's see if we can get that right. Can you see that? That's a person meditating. All right, that's a person meditating. So when I drew this, I was in the mind frame of, man, them Indians think they know it all about the chakra system and about spirituality. I'm about to come up with my own theory and philosophy, because I think I know something. I didn't get to that thought process of thinking that I knew something. I didn't even have the courage to think. I didn't have the courage to think outside the box until I started drawing. You feel me? So what that was at the top, you have knowing, but it all came from thoughts, seeing, your intuition, imagination, creativity, sounds, and communication. So I got it on one side of my figure, and then you go through healing, power, love, and all that coming up through your imagination. You can heal yourself by what you think. If you look at something visually pleasing, you might change your mood. Your mood might change by something you visually find pleasing to the eye. So don't think you can't heal yourself, man. I talked to a couple of people who dealing with trauma. A couple of ladies wrote some books dealing with rape and a lot of stuff that's kind of rough, and I'd be like, man, find you a way out. A lot of people on drugs trying to have some kind of escapism. We don't want to influence our adolescents and our students using substance, all right? That is not the answer. The substance is not the answer. Matter of fact, arguably, the substance that you did probably got that kid looking like that. But anyway, that's another story. Also, another figure that I drew, I find it, and go into, I guess you'll call it the back office. You can download another video of some sketches that I made. You can download my drawing class. I actually put pictures up from my drawing class and I explained it in detail, my process on how I taught the students with that PowerPoint presentation. You can also download my background as a mentor in there. But I have a drawing here. This is just something, me dealing with theories, right? Dang, I hope you could get that. You see how that swirl is coming from the eye, and then you got the zipper on his mouth. So that's like he's quiet and watching, right? Ain't that something? And then over there, I got a camera. Take time to read that. What does that say? That says window allows light. That's what a lens is. That's what your eye is. So, I'm just drawing things, figuratively speaking, and using my imagination. This is a sketchbook / journal. I don't want you to read everything I wrote in it because it got might be some spellbinding stuff on you. But anyway, no. I definitely want people to understand that drawing here's another one. Ooh. I drew this in mind. Wait, let me see. This one. Right here. That one right there. I call that dimensions. Look at the arrows and how it's going up and down. Don't look at that. Sorry about that, guys. But look at this one over here. That's dimensions. And if you look over to the left, you got the frequency and the waves. And then you got the swirls on the hand. All that means something. You know what I'm saying? That means something. I know the meaning. I ain't going to give you the meaning. But this was the end result. Dimensions. You can see every plane. You can see the X, Y, Z axis. Up, down, left, right, in and out. That is something. You know what I'm saying? That is something that I'm going to go more into detail with. Matter of fact, if you study art and then you go into the 3D animation realm of things, you start going from circles and triangles and start understanding pyramids instead of triangles. You start understanding spheres instead of circles. You start understanding the cube instead of a square. You're tapping into geometry in art. Take note. Go look up right now. Go look up Terrence Howard, the actor. Yes, Terrence Howard, in his theory on the flower of life. This is a piece of artwork that's ancient. I don't have it right now, but look it up. Flower of life. All right, that's a piece of artwork. Terrence Howard has debunked it using 3D modeling, and that's pretty some provocative thinking. I ain't saying that he's right, but he's coming with it when he's talking about capturing energy. See, we got Akon over there capturing solar energy, but we got Terrence Howard over here capturing wind energy. So, when we find a new method of energy powering our cities, who you gonna thank for that? I know y'all believed in Thomas Edison. I know y'all thank what's my boy on the $100 bill. Anyway, we know who they was talking with, and we knew who was in their barns working on that science for them white boys. But anyway, sorry about that, y'all. Look that man up. Terrence Howard, Flower of Life. All right. I got some more stuff I want to touch on. You know I got it. I got it. So a little bit more about culture. The color blue. In Nigeria, they are experts in making something called indigo blue. We know this worldwide. Just like worldwide, the African American provided cotton, okay? No, the Chinese didn't invent cotton. We African Americans brought cotton to the globe. So now, what I'm telling you now is the color indigo blue has come out of Nigeria. Nigeria has made this blue using art and science to make the ink. So these things makes research very interesting. Research, all right? Education, research, reform, all right? We can mix it all together, right? And the fabrics that they use typically is cashmere and wool. We found that wool is a fabric that can breathe. So breathe meaning you can cover up and it'll make you warm, and you can keep it on and it'll stay dry in the heat. These people are perfecting fabrics nowadays. It's an art, man. It's an art. Yeah. Because after the fabric comes the fashion, and you know we good at fashion. Look up Kanye West. Why did he buy 4,000 acres? That's 4,000 acres, man. So I found out that he's about to start manufacturing his own fabrics. A lot of y'all are saying that ain't nothing, but trust me, that's something. Manufacture your own fabrics in the land of the slaves that made cotton. That's something. And it took an artist, Kanye is an artist, don't forget, to actually come up with that. So I know y'all don't like Kanye West. He probably off his rocker right now, but definitely try to figure out what he's doing. Because soon as Tyler Perry got his little 330 acres, this man went and got 4,000 acres. So let's start seeing what our brothers is doing. Let's just see what they're doing. And like I said, don't be scared to look up Amos Wilson, and don't be scared to look up Terrence Howard, because these are people that we've grown to love their image. We've grown to love their celebrity, but they are people, man. They got stuff that they do outside of who you think they are. They got stuff that they do outside of who you think they are, man. So I encourage y'all to look them up. Another nice name, a brother that's in my generation now, because those are the older cats, but a brother in my generation, go look up someone called KT, the Arch Degree. Look it up. This guy is really into science, and he makes an art out of it. His way of speaking, his way of making the learning very simple. KT, the Arch Degree, man, 34-year-old brother. And I learned a lot about different plants by listening into his YouTube. And he talks a lot about chemistry. Chemistry is something you need to know, because everything that you put in your body and you consume breaks down into a chemical. All right. Is that glucose, aka sugar, good for you? Is corn syrup, cornstarch syrup, whatever it is in the soda, is it a good thing to drink every day? I don't know. You make your own decisions on that. But I would encourage you to look into the makeup of these ingredients that we consume. And it is dealing with chemistry, because I know if I eat too much broccoli, too much cabbage, that poop might not smell too good. So, and that's a chemical, because in your intestines, you have gases that breaks your food down. So that's science. So once again, all right, I think I'm babbling right now. So let me get back into the art a little bit more, and then we can pretty much call it a session. Can somebody type in, we had a good time? Or can somebody say a question? I could answer a question. That's very easy. Yeah, my main thing I want you to get from this session, I need you to gain an understanding of the social engineering. I need you to understand that symbolism is artwork. The words that you say, man, this it's all cultural. It's cultural. You know what I'm saying? If I use a curse word, it might not mean nothing to a brother in Spain that it would mean in Europe. You know, so it's cultural. And understand that we got to push the culture to find solutions for our education in the dilemma that we're in. I think I want to show y'all some artwork. All right, I'm entering a little exhibit. So now, this is a piece of artwork again. These are my sketches that I did with pen. So I didn't put no pencil down. I just drew this head up, pen to the board. Now right here, I'm gonna give y'all some. This right here is a tester, right? Hold on, get it right. Y'all got it? All right, so this is a tester. So most people know they vegetables. Now, this one, can y'all see this? I can't even. All right, this one people thought was a radish. That is a beet. And then they learned that this one is a radish. Sweet potato. This is an onion. This is a garlic. Obviously, that's carrot. But a lot of people got this one over here. That is ginger. So believe it or not, my sketches using colors and shapes allow people to understand what they already knew. You see that? Beets, carrots, radishes, garlic. Then if you get over here, you got a whole basket of fruits right there. You know, you can arguably say whatever you want, but you know, cucumber, whatever. Colors and shapes. That's all I did, man. All I did was put marker on a piece of paper, color and shapes, and people was able to figure out what vegetables those were. Those illustrations could possibly be put in a book now. I might have to make a book. Yeah, with them illustrations. Another thing, I'm gonna go back here. Oh. So you do know sunflowers are good. They pull toxins out of the soil. So sunflowers are great. An insect that loves sunflowers. Give me one insect that pulls the pollen out of the sunflower. Yes, you got it. The bumblebee. So I had to put them in there, man. The bees pull the pollen that creates nectar or honey, better yet. So I made this as a contribution to the bees, man. The flowers, they pull all that pollen and then they create honey. And we use honey for a lot of things. All right. We use honey for a lot of things. We use it as a preservative, a sweetener. That is a beautiful thing. Honey. Because honey can be your sugar replacement. All right, we got a question. Your thoughts on how school can bring this on in the classroom. How we can bring, all right, so for one, they're going to say nope if you come in there talking about, I'm bringing culture. So that's one. But my thoughts on what we can bring in the classroom is possibly bringing visual arts back. You know, a lot of students really don't know what red and blue makes. A lot of people just don't know what yellow and red makes. That is very simple. If you don't know what yellow and blue makes, then not saying that you're dumb if you don't know how to mix colors, but I'm just saying that is a stepping stone for educating them, getting them to know what colors mix to make what other color, secondary color, because then you can take it all the way up a notch and say what chemical you mix with another chemical to find this reaction, you know. So I think that visual arts will be very important in that sense. I hope I answered that question. Next question. What you're saying provides a new way of teaching of the youth and providing a connection between the learning and nature combined. Correct. I do think that nature can teach us, man. It's not a coincidence that Every melanated person loves watching National Geographics. It's not a coincidence. Every non-melanated person loves watching and studying and analyzing the people who studies nature. If you get what I just said right then, y'all might not miss that one. But nature, man, think about that. And then it's some African cultures that believe the cheetah print ties to mind control. And I'm gonna get back into that research a little bit. I left that alone, but cheetah print, they're saying that the psychologists in the ancient world used to wear cheetah. I don't know if this deals with the fact that you have to be somebody special to catch a cheetah, but they tie that into mind control and psychology. The guys that wore the cheetah, the guys that wore the leopard, was usually the leopard and panther skins. Those Africans was usually the ones that was the witch doctors. They knew how to make formulas, and they was the ones that gave you, for lack of a better word, potions, because we're talking about some backyard stuff. They gave you potions. That's the word that they would use if you're talking to a physician or a pharmacist. That ain't no real medicine. But I arguably would say that if they studied and researched and found a solution, then you got to put it up against your solution. I don't care if it's a pill versus a herb. So yeah, I hope I answered that question about learning nature and combined. Anybody else got anything they want to ask me? I sure wish y'all would have tuned in to me, because I got a whole lot more to go. It's just not a lot of visual arts learning. I got a lot to talk about as far as culture. When drawing, you start to see that everything is flat. You even can look in the real world, and when you look at photos, photo is a 2D thing. You know what I'm saying? You do it like that. You can't see the depth of a photograph, but when you look at it, you can see foreground, midground, and background of a photograph. Once you start learning depth starts to become something where you take it up a notch. I'm talking about 100 miles an hour. You go from depth to start understanding dimension. When engineers started understanding dimension, they then learned how to break the sound barrier using jets. So I think art is a real powerful thing, man. You start learning that 3D stuff, you start learning timing and start getting into theories, because your theories will start elevating. Your theories don't elevate, trust me, because I started tampering with what is dark matter. I heard this word before. I know matter, you can arguably say fog is matter, because it's like water, but it's really air. That's matter. But how dense the matter becomes is something. But then I understand that. But what is dark matter? I don't get it. So art opens up new doors and new paths to infinity, I believe, man. Just it's just real. Here we go. Talk about way you can integrate art and literacy. Okay. So literacy. Going back to shapes, letters are shapes. This I learned in typography class. Typography meaning when you typewriting, you see that you got certain serifs on your letters. So literacy, in my mind, is what you read, you can then comprehend, right? So back to graffiti. You can't speak everybody's language. If I made a wall of graffiti, those letters is only for those who can understand it. So that just put a new level of education, because now we're talking a new language. Trust me, a lot of power and secrets. All right. So in literacy, if we can teach new symbols to give meaning that's provocative and more powerful, the new symbols in our literature can then provide new solutions for new problems. You know what I'm saying? We're going to solve problems with literacy. I hope that kind of went in the lane. I probably got out of control with that one. Let me tackle that a different way. Art, if you can Let's go simple. All right. I give you a card that says red on the card, and flip it over, and there's a red sports car. That meant something, because red usually means hot in our culture, usually means fast. But on the reverse side, red does mean stop, but no. If I showed you a car, that means fast car. Red cars are not slow cars. You get what I'm saying culturally? So in literacy, if I give you the word cat, now turn it over and you see a black cat with his back hunched up, usually in the imagery of Halloween, a black cat, that means something. So I think that artwork and how we use the artwork symbolically can give literacy new meanings. I hope that touched you a little bit. And that goes into STEM too, because we do know that science is heavy, and I can always, everything I say can go into psychology when I'm talking about art. So yeah, STEM, yeah. So what age would be appropriate to start this kind of learning? Honestly, adolescent, because like I said, third graders know what photosynthesis means. How you even know to say that word, kid? You don't even know what syllables is yet, but you can tell me the meaning of photosynthesis. So I think starting them out in elementary, talking about artwork, because I talk to elementary students. I teach Charles Roux elementary students art. And like I said, I'm just giving them the difference between 2D and 3D when I say triangle versus pyramid, square versus cube, you know what I'm saying? So once we get into the understanding of depth and 2D, 3D, we could then start talking about the degrees and depth of field. And I think that would give elementary students a higher IQ when it comes to reading maps. I think it'll give them a higher IQ when it comes to judging geometry and understanding scale. That way, if you understand scale, you can then become an architect or draw blueprints at an early age. I think that learning about shapes can also just draw the creativity on what you're seeing, you know, because you can always see something from one angle, but then when you turn it on its side, it becomes something else. So I think that perspective is the angle that you see it, can then build a perception, how you see it and the angle you see it at. So I hope I answered that question about would it be age appropriate. I'm just saying elementary students can learn this stuff. All right. Ancient Egyptians. Oh, yeah. Hieroglyphics is right. Hieroglyphics. I was trying to find that word earlier. Thank you. Yes, hieroglyphics is the most intense version of symbols, because you can look at it, you'd be like, oh, they doing this or whatever. But they're talking about a story, and it's dealing with slavery, it's dealing with energy, it's dealing with power sources, it's dealing with the masses, man. They the first ones to really get into that yellow gold, get into energy, get into harnessing the power of water. So they telling stories on them hieroglyphics. Yeah, hieroglyphics. Thank you for correcting that word for me. That looks like Kim. Appreciate you for bringing me in on the summit. So I guess I don't know if you guys enjoying what I'm saying, but I done showed y'all a little bit of my sketchbook. I showed you a little bit of my artwork that I'm going to have in the exhibit. I done gave you some definitions of some of the colors. What else I did? Y'all, I hope y'all got some from my session, because I'm not a master's degree. I'm not really a teacher. I'm a mentor. You know, I ain't been travel all over the world, but I think that I got something for education reform. Y'all let me know if y'all enjoyed or y'all understand and like what I got or what I provided. Yes. Hold on 1 second, you guys. I wanted to. Oh, wow. So I must thank our partners over there at the Miami Dolphins. We have a special on tickets with this session. You can go catch the game too, and we could all get together, man. I'd like to meet some of y'all. Um, Also, you can look at what I present. Most importantly, is an all access pass that we provide. You got to look through the website. So while you're here, don't just click off. Kind of look and navigate through the website. It's an all access pass, unlimited to all the sessions. So, I know you love me, but you can go check out my boy Daniel Williams as he talks about the future. I know y'all want to know what's going to happen in 2020. And it's finna get real different, because I do know that we're going into the world of access granted instead of ownership. We just get to own it by having access to it. You know what I'm saying? We're going into that type of world. Let me see what we got. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. Somebody hit me with the fire up. Boom. I feel you. Appreciate that. With the symbols. You see how you use that artwork on that? I thank you for that. Hold on one second. Before I go, yeah, that all access pass is important, you guys, because you can learn from how many speakers we got? 17? I mean, we got a few speakers, and trust me, the knowledge is way beyond what I'm giving you. So, you don't want to behoove yourself by not taking advantage of getting this all access pass. You get to listen to everybody that's on this summit, listen to it over and over. I provide files for you to download, and I'm just giving you visual arts. Once you you get into this and you contact me, you get to know about my chess programs. I was going to do a session on chess as well. Chess mentorship is very important. But yeah, visual arts, you guys. Culture provides solutions. If that's it, oh yeah, I got somebody hit me in the wanting me to remind y'all, all access pass means lifetime access. So if you like looking at my face, you can see it over and over and over and over again. And you can debunk my stuff. I like to hear somebody challenge it, but I ain't finna debate no religion, but let's debate some of that science, and let's see if my ideas on education reform is real. You know what I'm saying? Let's put somebody to the test and say, Dave, I tried it and it don't work. That'll force me to put my stuff to the test a little more. I don't mind doing that, and I don't mind talking to people, because we got a lot of advanced students out there, and they're bored with the education to the point where how you call your kid smart, but he ain't got good test scores. How that happened? How did that happen? Oh, okay. So y'all don't know how the answers. We're trying to provide reform and give you answers. So yeah, that's all for me, y'all. Again, David Miller, Culture Arts Ambassador. Get that all access pass, and stay tuned for more sessions at the Cure for Education Online Summit. Thanks.